is Val Smith. I work here at St. Vincent de Paul. I've been here for quite some time. I started in the late 80s.
Hi, my name's Ron Crum. I'm the Executive Director at St. Vincent de Paul Middletown.
I never thought about opportunities to work for the state or anything like that because I always felt for certain places people were a number. And St. Vincent de Paul allowed me not to treat people as a number but as a person. So I was able to talk to them and enter into their darkest parts of their lives.
People used to have to go to churches. If they had a need for rental assistance, for utility assistance, for transportation in an emergency, they got a new job but they couldn't get there, and so to get them started, for medical bills, all those kinds of things, people used to go to the churches. And you know, some people would go from church to church to church, and the churches, it involved a lot of time. And so the community assistance program grew out of a sense that our Middletown faith community got together and said, we'd really like somebody who could play the role of a gatekeeper for all of the people in Middletown looking for emergency assistance. Right now we have 22. At one time there was as many as 26 churches that were a part of faith communities. We have a synagogue and a couple of other groups that are involved. So faith, I would say faith communities. There are 22. And the reason that it works so well is because our staff, Val Smith on our staff, is kind of the gatekeeper into those funds, and then those funds are split among all of the different faith communities.
My name is Vivian. We live in the town of Portland, and they referred us to her because we were looking for a program that would help us pay our electric bill. Any organization, anything that we turned to, they all said, well, you know, there's more needier people. I'm not exactly sure what they based on, who's more needy or not, but you know, either way, we didn't get the desired help.
A lot of times people are just a little bit above the poverty guideline, where they're not able to get anything.
Well, life happens, you know, sometimes we needed, that additional money for other things that, you know, were more important, food or other bills that couldn't wait. So it happened to be that we fell behind with the payments of New Start. And what happens is, because it's called the Winter Protection Plan, they cannot shut your electric off. And so what happened is that you have to pay everything back before the winter protection is over, which I believe is in April. Yeah, and we couldn't do that.
Assistance here. So energy assistance is a highlight of my day because we have what we call Operation Fuel. That's totally a blessing to us because it helps us to help in other areas where they help with that. A good percentage of people that come in, we help them to get onto the New Start program. We prevent shut-off notices, or we help people to get their service back on. We put agencies together and we help that person get their service back on.
The other thing that we're careful about is that we're wanting to make sure that that if we are able to help someone to meet that particular need, that it really is a help, that it's not just kind of, you know, a prolong or a postponement of a problem that inevitably is going to come up the following month as well.
We don't owe Eversource anything. You really have to try to help yourself, but sometimes you just need the additional help in order to be able to help yourself, you know? And I think this was in our case where we really needed that. So this is actually going to be our first year that we are not under the Winter Protection Plan any longer, because we no longer need it, because we are keeping up, you know, with the bills. But like I said, those few years, this just would have been not possible. And if St. Vincent de Paul, along with, you know, obviously Valerie, if they would have not stepped in, I don't know what, they probably would have shut it off eventually either way.
Like, say if a person came and they were behind in their rent, they were behind in all their bills. The good news is that they came looking for help, right? So with that, I may call a program to try to get them into outpatient or inpatient, depending on what their insurance will allow them to do, or what we will come to grips, because it's not about telling them what they should do, but how can we work it out? Because if they're working, we don't want them to lose their job. So we'll address problem number one, which would be the substance abuse. And because we don't want them to lose their housing, we will work on the rental issue.
Another service that we offer. We have about 170, 180, it varies from day to day, but people who don't have a stable place to live, and they may not be homeless, but they might be staying on a couch of a friend or a family member or someplace, and they just don't feel like they live there, so they don't use that address. They use our address. And so we get mail every day for a lot of people who don't have a stable address, and they come here. So Monday to Friday we're like a post office for the homeless. So anything that comes to the post office that indicates someone might be homeless, it comes to St. Vincent de Paul. This particular piece of mail says Water Spirit, homeless, Middletown, Connecticut, and they send it to us.
Not only did they help, I feel like, you know, with the electric, but then Valerie and I became close enough that I could just call her with other issues too, where she would say, okay, well, maybe you should try this or you should try that. And she's always in the same mood. Like, there's never a change. Like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? It's always the same, so.
Well, there's a number of different groups that have resources similar to ours, and they too trust our staff to be able to understand an issue, understand a problem, and to know that the money that they spend or that they might put towards that problem is going to be money well spent.
To be quite honest with you, if we don't work together as a community, a lot of needs will not get met. They will go unmet. So it's beneficial to all the community to work together hand by hand, people helping people to make a successful outcome.